Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee, thanks for tuning in. Hey, so today we're going to be working on this, putting this fillet table on the boat. I'm going to be using this as my grill mount, which is why you probably tuned in from the thumbnail. But I wanted to show you this setup. This company, Railblaza, they are out of Australia, but they make this cool little fillet table that actually mounts with their proprietary StarPorts right to the pontoon rail. So we're going to unbox this thing, get it put together as much as we can, and then when we have some good weather, we'll go put it on the boat and mount the grill and see how this works as a solution. So this was my existing grill setup. I got this awesome little Weber Q grill. Had this for quite a few years. It's a really nice little cast iron grill. Works great, cooks hot, heats up fast, and there's a few times that you grill on the boat and you like to have it out there with you, but then for me it was always a setup because I'd take this table with me out there, set that up, and I thought, man, I'd like to come up with a way to use this grill and come up with a mount, because I didn't really want to put a more expensive, magma grill on there with the stainless steel pipe and everything, because I already had this grill. So when I found this Railblaza setup, I thought that might be the ticket. So in the box here, you got the fillet table, and it very clearly says StarPorts not included. So you need their StarPorts in order to mount this thing and to make it work right. So it comes with their parts here that go on the bottom of the table. So we'll get that installed. But it's a pretty simple, just molded plastic table. It's not too huge, but it will fit the grill just fine. And then back here, if you were using this as a fillet table, there's actually, I think you would drill a hole here for the drain, and then all your water would run around into the drain if you were using it for that function. And then down here, these slits in the back are actually for putting your fillet knife in. So we won't be using that. So in the bag here with the table, we have these mounts. So it's basically just 4 stainless screws for each one. And then this is actually the StarPort mount right here, the male portion of it. So this will go on the bottom of the grill, and it's adjustable. So this is the StarPort part that I haven't showed you yet. And what happens is this male part goes into the female StarPort part here. And right now I have this lock opened. So you'll stick that in there, slides in, then you lock it, and then that holds it together. So that's the whole idea behind the system. So we'll unlock it, pull it out. This bottom part will be mounted to the rail. We'll mount this to the table, and then all we'll have to do is take the grill and table on and off when we want to. So let's get these mounts put on. I'm going to turn this over, and there are a tremendous amount of spots that you could actually mount these. Looks like they could go here, 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 here. Maybe there's 4 spots. I'm not seeing any other spots over here that may work, but we're gonna go centered. I don't think I want to be on the immediate center one, so I'm gonna go with these outside ones. So should be a pretty simple process here. I think I'm gonna put the adjustment knob to the outside. So I like this setup because it was about around $100 for the setup. I actually bought this in 2 pieces. The Railblaza site, they were out of stock. I had bought part of this from Amazon, and I bought part of it from eBay. just because of the stock situation as well. But I think you can get the whole thing on Amazon. I'll post a link to this in the description. Like I said, I got the StarPorts that I haven't showed you yet. I got those mounts on Amazon. But yeah, the whole setup is around 100 or so in 2025, and I thought that was worth it since I already had the grill. I didn't have to, I was going to spend over 100 or around 100 at least for a mount, but then I would have had to have a different grill for it. So I think this is going to be just the ticket. After you make enough videos, you realize some of the keywords you say all the time, and I think just the ticket is one that I say quite a bit. All right, that was pretty easy. And I'm just going to start each one of these, that way you can kind of get the little detent started. It's nice that they give you a lot of different mounting options on the bottom here. You can also see, looks like this is the back where the drain would be. If you were using this table for a fillet mount, you can hook a hose up to that. That way the fish guts water at least run down a little ways, not run all over the side of your boat. I like finding things that are meant for one purpose and repurposing them for something else. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so now let me show you the other part of this system. So this is the actual StarPort that they say you have to have separately. So each StarPort comes in its own box. They call this the Pontoon boat rail mount StarPort. I haven't opened this one yet. The boxes came nice and beat up. Okay, so let me show you this up close. This is the unlocked way right here. You can see this little gray push lock. On the inside of the StarPort, there's a little detent in there that is completely relieved right now. And then you'll put your grill mount in there. And then after that, you press it here. And now you can see that that area is taken up. And that's what's right in here. And that's what's locking the table in place. Okay, guys, so let me show you what's in each one of these StarPort boxes. Again, you'll need 2 of these. This is meant to fit either a 1 1/4 inch width rail or a 1 1/8 inch rail. And they do that, they accommodate that by providing a spacer here. So this is the spacer you would use if you need to take up extra. So let's say your rail, this is meant to fit an 1 1/4 rail. If you have an 1 1/8 rail, you'd need to add this extra spacer in here to take up the difference. So that just snaps right in there. Comes out easy if you didn't need it to, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to discard this part. I don't need it, but I'll show you that. And then it also comes with a spacer for 1 1/4 inch. As far as this dictates the different amount of height you might need. So I haven't determined yet. I can't remember if I need this or not, but if you need to take up the extra thickness here, or remove it. I think I do need this. So basically you'll use this so that the clamp coming down here won't take up as much space. It'll sit higher than if you didn't use that spacer. So they provide those 2 spacers for just that reason, to either take up space or to remove space. So I think that's the setup I'm gonna need. and then this goes on here like this. There's also a little rubber foot that goes in here. So you put the rubber foot in, and then it's pretty much a matter of going down to the boat, and then you'll mount this piece to the rail, and then after you get that on there, you'll mount the StarPort to it, which just screws in to the part that you already mounted to the boat. So it's a pretty simple system. One thing they do is they have the nuts are recessed, so that's good. You can see that here. So the nuts will basically sit in there. And they're actually kind of snug, which is good, because the last thing you want to do is drop something into the lake. So there's really not much else to show here. You got this part that we'll put on the rail. We'll screw it on there. We'll install this, and then we'll try out the table. All right, I got everything together. I got all these parts mostly assembled, put in the bag. So next step, we'll get onto the boat, we'll put it on and see how she fits. Guys, before we go, let me show you how I store my grill. I think one of these tote boxes that you get from Home Depot, Lowe's, Costco. These are the Costco ones. I think Sam's Club, they probably all have the same size. But that works great for grill storage. Especially it contains, you know, some of the grill smells that aren't the greatest in between grilling. So I can't remember if I have room to just keep this on the boat. I do have a changing room on there, and I think there may be space to put that in there, but this a lot of times I just bring it back and forth. But if I can keep it out there, now that I have the grill mount that I'm going to be putting on, that'll be nice. But this gives you room. I keep the gas cylinder in here, got a little backup lighter in case the battery's out on the igniter. You got some drip pans, so just an overall nice storage area for this grill too. Okay guys, so I think this is the door I'm going to put it on. So I'm just going to start kind of close to this edge here to make sure that it doesn't interfere at all with my door latch. So I'm going to come in here, a little safe in case for some reason the nut decides to drop out of the bottom. But I did put that spacer in here that I showed you guys. So we're just gonna put the bottom piece on, and I'm just gonna fit the top piece around it. I'm just gonna slide it down about right here. And now we'll just start these stainless washers, and hopefully they'll go nicely into the nut there that's recessed. I got my fingers underneath it just in case the nut decides to drop out. I can catch it, but that's pulling up. Sorry about the background noise with the weed eater, so I'm not sure if my headphones are going to cut that out or not. Okay, so then the next step is you just take this StarPort piece, and there's the two short stainless screws. And you put that on there and we'll screw it in. Okay, and then here's that lock and unlock feature. Works a little easier now that it's fastened to something. So there is locked, there's unlocked. All right, so that's there, and up press the lock button to test that. So that's locked in right now. So I think that's a good way to figure out where we need to be. So now the other one will go right here. Try to approximate this here. Makes it a little tricky because you gotta screw this one on and tighten this down before, once you put the top part on, you can't get to the screws underneath it. So you really need to make sure you're where you want it to be. I think that looks about perfectly centered, so we'll try that. Okay, that one took a long time to bite. I was wondering if the nut was still in there. You can kind of push your finger up in the hole enough to push it up to where you need it to start. Okay, I'm not going to tighten those all the way down. I'm going to set the StarPort on there and make sure that it's where it needs to be. So I'm just kind of test fitting this side. This side's fixed. And this one looks like, I want to make sure it's pretty even. It's probably going to work. So I'll finish tightening these down. Okay, I'll make sure. You could actually put this lock on the front or the back if you want to, but obviously I want to keep it consistent. So I'm just going to put it to the back like the other one. And praise the Lord, we didn't lose any parts in the water. Okay, unlock. Let's see if it fits. So again, here we go. Put it in the StarPort. Press the lock. Press the lock. All right, guys, so there it is. Got the table. So all that's left to do is throw the grill on there, test fit, and show you how that works. All right, moment of truth. So this is a heavy grill. You can see this has got some sway to it, but I don't plan to have this on there when I'm under power. So I feel like I'm good there. What I may do is use some bungees just to throw a quick little strap around it. Let's actually see how one of those fit. I should have a selection in here of the world famous ball bungees. I'll put a link to these in the description too, guys. I've featured these in many videos, but this is one of my favorite cheap accessories. They're so good to use for so many things. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I use this one. Comes around the back, and I just use this to hold the grill shut. So I got that. So I'm thinking of doing something similar here, just to give me a little extra security on this table. So probably need to go through here. And it looks like it's going to take a double. So I'll go through there to lock in. And I'll go through the back and lock in. And I've had these on before for a whole summer, and the heat of the grill being down here doesn't impact them, so that's good. So I can bring this bungee around the bottom and bring this one around. Just kind of lock it together. guess it wants to pull to the back of the table, which is fine. But I feel like that gives me a little more security. And then when it comes time to undo it, all I got to do is just release the ball underneath and let it go. And then these can just stay right on the grill. So that works fine. I'll put one on the other side too and come back to you. Okay, here we go. So I just secured it on both sides. Just a little extra precaution. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's wobbly, but we're not going to have this on when the boat's underway, or I'm sure that plastic would snap off. But this feels good to grill on here. These straps do have it going all the way to the back, so with the extra weight of the lid, I might just try to pull it up to the front. We'll figure that out. But what I could do is put a little stop block on this table so it makes sure it kind of stays centered on there. Maybe that's something I'll rig up, but let's see if we still got igniter from last summer. Yep, she just fired up. All right. All right, so I'll take it off in reverse here. And we'll stick it back in the storage box. And then to take this off, we'll just unlock it. Unlock it. Pull it up. And then these will just stay with the boat. And we'll stow this away in storage. So we'll always have our table on the boat ready to go. So one other cool feature too, and I'll put this down before I stow it, but this does bend down, so it's a little less apt to break off. Okay, let me show you what I came up with for storage here. Okay, so this was going to work pretty good. I showed you guys the other night, I like to keep it in this Costco box. I had to shimmy it in a little bit, but it still closes. And then I'll just stick the old Railblaza table on there. And we close her up. And we're ready for next time. So guys, I hope this is helpful. If it was, go ahead and share, like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee. Thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on your right. I have other content linked for you on the left side. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.